there is harmony in this world. It is only ignorance that creates friction.
Welcome to the Vishwa Shanti Darshan YouTube channel. We are about to listen to Param Pujya Sadhu Vivek Jeevandasji. Param Pujya Sadhu Vivek Jeevandasji completed his education in London. He studied biochemistry at London. In 1976, in the presence of the prominent Sadhu Maharajji, he received initiation as a monk. Jeevandasji studied Indian and Western philosophy at Swami Narayan Temple in Hyderabad.
So Norman Cousins, he had these sessions of laughter. After 7 days, he writes in his own book, he was able to move his thumb. He was so crippled that he could not even move any part of his body. But these 10-minute doses of laughter, after 7 days, and he was off tranquilizers, he was off the painkillers, and he was able to move the thumb. Oh, what a great victory it was. And after many months, he was able to stand up and he was able to lead a normal life. Laughter is the best medicine. And also the other three aspects as well. So thinking differently, don't lose hope. Try to think differently. You will be able to extricate yourself. You will be able to elevate yourself. So thinking differently is very, very important as well. Another thing that we all suffer from is our own base natures. Ego, anger, greed. These are the root causes of so many problems in our society. And they're also the problems, they are also responsible for the illnesses that we face in our own lives. It is also very important that to do satsanga in life is very important. The whole of Bhagavad Gita, Arjun was in depression. Arjun was not an ordinary fighter. Remember, he had fought for the Devas and he had destroyed the Danavas and the Asuras. This was Arjun. He was ambidextrous. Arjun was ambidextrous. He could shoot an arrow with his right hand as well as with his... That is why he was known as Savyasachi. Savyasachi means ambidextrous. So skilled he was. He also used to fire an arrow, shoot an arrow. Shabda Vedi Baan. He would hear a noise and he would let go of his arrow and the arrow would find the target in spite of the darkness. Arjun was not an ordinary warrior. He was a Maharathi. But on the battlefield, Krishna was his charioteer. And Arjun, he sinks, seeing all his relatives and the entire Kaurava army. And the Gandhi falls off. He is shivering. There is sweat rolling down from his face. And he tells Sri Krishna that I don't want to fight. Just imagine, you are the world champion boxer or wrestler, whatever it is. Not staged boxing champion, but real champion. And then suddenly, when it is the occasion comes to fight and you say that I don't want to fight. So Arjun was in this situation. And at that time, Sri Krishna, he preaches to him 700 shlokas of the Gita. He gives him a different thought altogether. A different perspective to life altogether. Karma Yoga, Gnan Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Raj Yoga. And Sri Krishna pumps into him a different perspective altogether, saying to him that you are Atma, you are the soul, you are not the body. And the body, all these people, they are all dead. You are only an instrument. And with the entire discourse of the Gita, right at the end, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna. And at the very end, Krishna says that I will fight. And he fights with the strength of God, with Bhagwan Krishna as his charioteer. See, we always rely on tangible strengths in our life. But there are so many problems in life that they cannot be solved by status, by intelligence, by money, by the physical things that are there at your disposal. Sometimes we have to take recourse to the divine. And by reposing our faith in the divine, either we are able to transcend those problems, or God gives us the strength to endure the situations that are there before us. So friends, it is very important to think differently in life. Now you may feel that how can we go about it? We are just mere human beings, we are ordinary human beings. And this is where the Guru comes in. The Guru plays a very pivotal role in the holistic development of the individual. The Guru guides because he has not only Atma Sakshatkar, but he also has realization of God. By associating with the right Guru, Mahatma Gandhi used to say that during my travels in India, I was asked, what is the most urgent need of India? More than 70, 80 years back. And Gandhiji, he said, I feel that the most urgent need of India is a proper religious spirit. Proper religious spirit. Now see, bear in mind the adjectives. Proper religious spirit. That is the most urgent need of India. Another very interesting thing that he said was that if the education you get takes you away from God, please bear this in mind. If the education you get takes you away from God, I do not know how that education is going to help you and how you are going to help the world. This is what Mahatma Gandhi said. Having faith in God is of utmost importance in life, whether we understand it or not. But just imagine, there are so many variables in life. Whatever that you do, there are so many variables. You are not in charge of all those variables in life. You know, we have the forces of nature. We are not in control of forces of nature. We are not in control of our own body. There are so many variables in whatever that we do. We try our best physically in trying to do what we can, but still those variables remain unattended. And that is where prayer to God helps you. To make all those variables conducive to what you are doing. This is where reposing faith in God plays a very pivotal role. Thinking differently. Very, very important. Thinking differently, I've talked about it on the mundane level, but I would also like to refer to the fact that thinking differently requires a spiritual core in every individual. I would like to just recite to you a couple of incidents about our Guruji, Pramukh Swamiji. Pramukh Swamiji passed away at the age of 95 last year. Our new Guruji is Mahan Swami. He is 85. Now Pramukh Swami, he had studied only up to 6th standard, but he has more or less advanced the organization on a global level. 1100 temples, more than 1000 sadhus. See the sadhus here who are here before us. The Swamiji here on the right, the first, he is a doctor from Leicester University. He did his MBBS, he was working in a hospital. The only child of his parents, only son of his parents. And his parents, they permitted him to become a sannyasi, a sadhu. We do not ever communicate with our parents for the entire life. A very strict disciplinary code that we have. But he did his MBBS from Leicester University. The Swamiji in the middle, Tyaganand Swami, who is the administrative head here of our mandir here in Pune, he did his civil engineering from Nirma University in Gujarat. He is a sadhu. The Swamiji next to him, he is a science graduate. More than 1000 sadhus. Just imagine, you try to tell your son to get his hair clipped, to have a haircut, and he will tell you, Dad, mind your own business. You know, I know what I'm doing. It's very difficult to try and even manage your own children when they become independent. So just imagine, it is not an ordinary thing to try and evoke and inspire such sacrifice for society and for realizing God in one's own life. Pramukh Swamiji was in Ahmedabad, and some of us were present there. He used to give an audience to people. He used to meet people. And people, if they had any problems, they would ask him, they would seek his guidance, they would seek his blessings. It so happened that in that line there were three guys. They were more or less well dressed. They were not members of the organization of the BAPS. They were outside people. And more or less they were quite, I would say, probably revolters, revolt. So a lot of mischief and a lot of thumping of their hands and whatever it is, they were of that nature. So when they came up to Pramukh Swamiji, Swami was able to perceive, and Swami told them that you should have 3 addictions in your life. 3 addictions in your life. So these guys were very happy because they had all the addictions. So they felt that this Guru seems to match with our way of thinking, And then Pramukh Swami elaborated, the first addiction that you should have is not to have any addictions at all. You should not have any addictions. You should be a vegetarian. No meat. Be a strict vegetarian. The second addiction is that whatever that you do it properly and do it with integrity. Whatever work that you do it properly. See, these 2 things are very important, though they are very small words. Doing things in a slipshod manner, that does not reflect one's goodness. So doing things properly and with integrity, with honesty. Second discipline. And the third is do bhajan. Do bhajan in your life. So these 3 guys said, okay, fine, Swamiji, fine. They went off. But see, some of us, we were present there, and I personally felt that Pramukh Swami, he gave the roadmap of life. See, I would like to ask you a question. You take an educationist, you take a parent, or you take any thinking person in society, would they know how to mold and to shape their children? How should they shape their children's life? It's a very difficult thing. There are so many things. Pramukh Swami, he gave the roadmap of life. In what direction? 3 directions that an individual should try to carve, or a parent should try to mold the child, their own child's existence. The first, he said, no addictions, no meat. Health is very important. Our physical health, this is an instrument. If you are healthy, you are able to do everything. You will also enjoy. Even if you have a cold, you will not enjoy the fan which is rotating on top of your head. You will find it very excruciating, and you will find it to be a punishment. Just because you have got a cold. Health is of prime importance. For good health, it is important not to have any addictions. No smoking, no drinking, no drugs. And to have a strict vegetarian diet, it is conducive and it is good for health. So, body. First concept he gave was of body. The second, see, being a householder, you have a family, you have your own self, your own career. In order to progress in your own career and to also take your family ahead and society in India, it is very important that we should work properly and with honesty. By working properly and honestly, you will not only carry your own life and your own career forward, you will also elevate your family, you will elevate your society, and India would definitely be a Vishwa Guru. If each and every person and citizen of India would not indulge in corruption, doing things honestly and properly, to what level would India be raised to? So second was life and country. Okay, first body. Second, your career, life, family, and country. And the last, do bhajan, soul. The soul is a driver of our life, of this body. Once the soul is gone, finished. All your degrees are gone. You are nobody, you are a non-entity. So what happens? By doing bhajan, you elevate your soul. So just imagine health, that is body, health, then your own existence, yourself, your family, the country, and your soul, roadmap of life, thinking differently. We just cannot get out of that small well that we are all in. We have to think differently in order to transcend ourselves from the cycles of life and death. This is not our first birth. It is not the first time that you are a professor. We have been professors and we have had so many births. The cycle of metempsychosis, that is the cycle of life and death, we have gone through for umpteen numbers of years. So in order to come out of that cycle of misery and birth and death, it is important to think differently. Spirituality helps us.
World's biggest dome, which is dedicated to world peace. Thank you, Dr. Karad, for making us part of this history.